None. Leave is granted. Next speaker, taking the call. Ian Lees Galloway.
Well, Mr. Speaker, that contribution from Tim McIndoe, I think, really sums up the government's position on alcohol reform and trying to deal with alcohol harm. Patronising, full of platitudes, and absolutely devoid of action. I do want to congratulate. And substance as well. I do want to congratulate Mr. McIndoe for the position he has taken and for the advocacy that he has carried out over the years. But unfortunately, he has failed to influence his own party, and he has failed to influence this government to actually pass legislation that will make a real difference. Mr. Speaker, this has been a long journey. It was started by Labor back in 2008. When Leanne Dalzell first promoted legislation in this area, and the Law Commission was asked to undertake its review. The Law Commission presented its comprehensive, evidence-based report and anticipated that it would be drafting legislation that this Parliament could consider. However, this national government got their hands on it, and Simon Power dramatically watered down what the Law Commission suggested Parliament should be doing and brought to Parliament a weak and insipid bill. But we on the opposition benches supported it because we had hope that when it went to Select Committee we might have the opportunity to strengthen it. And indeed, members on the Select Committee did hear thousands of submissions, all making good suggestions about how we could strengthen this legislation to make it align more closely with the Law Commission's report, more closely with what New Zealanders wanted us to do, and so that it would actually achieve something. And members on the committee, many of them, made good suggestions, and some positive amendments were made to the legislation, but unfortunately not enough. Then along came Judith Collins, and she took a watered-down bill and diluted it even further. In the face of pressure from a number of different industries, Judith Collins folded like a piece of paper. What we ended up with was something that was so watered down that this is essentially the homeopathic approach to alcohol harm, because there is no substance, nothing left in this bill by the time it's been watered down, first by Simon Power and then by Judith Collins. Judith Collins faced pressure from the liquor industry, and under pressure from the liquor industry, she removed the sensible provisions that were originally put in the bill by her predecessor to regulate alcopops. So we lost the regulation around the number of standard drinks that any one can or bottle of alcopop could contain. We lost the regulation around the maximum amount of alcohol volume that there could be in each alcopop. So we will continue to see the crime scene in a can that the police refer to so often, the Codys, the Woodstock, and all the other horrible, cheap alcopops designed to do one thing: get people as drunk as possible, as quickly as possible. Judith Collins is responsible for that, and the national government is responsible for that. Under pressure from the supermarkets, Judith Collins folded once again and cancelled out the changes her own colleagues on the Select Committee made to strengthen the provisions about where you could put alcohol in a supermarket. Her own colleagues wanted to make the bill stronger, and Judith Collins trumped them. She has delayed the introduction of the local alcohol policies, one of the few positive aspects of this legislation. Something that communities are crying out for, the ability to determine what the number of liquor outlets and how liquor is regulated in their own community. It's something that people want now. They don't want to have to wait 12 months. There is no reason for them to have to wait 12 months. This is not forcing local government to do anything. It is empowering local communities to have local control over local decisions. And that opportunity is being delayed. And justice delayed is justice denied, Mr. Speaker. But it wasn't just the watering down, because this bill was pretty weak to start with. The government failed to act properly to curb advertising. They were given a number of different options that they could have taken up at the committee stage. There were simple things. like shifting the television watershed out by a mere half hour, by eliminating advertising near schools, by taking a proper look at the role that alcohol sponsorship plays in our communities, all the way through to the suggestion of a total ban on television, radio advertising, and a total ban on sponsorship. There was a wide spectrum of options on the table, any one of which the government could have chosen to take up, and they chose to do nothing on liquor advertising. The government failed to act on price. Again, they were given a number of options: minimum pricing, excise tax, a health levy applied at the point of sale, all of which would have helped deal with price, and we know that the evidence says that price is one of the premium ways that we can curb the harm caused by alcohol. But because this government is beholden to the Food and Grocery Council, they chose to do nothing on price. This government failed to act on reducing the blood alcohol level. Again, there are over 300 studies internationally that show that lowering the blood alcohol level will have a significant impact on the harm caused by alcohol, obviously, particularly on our roads, but it's also about setting the environment in which alcohol is consumed. Because the government is beholden to the Hospitality Association and, frankly, to the AA, whose position on this issue has been disappointing. The evidence was there, the opportunity was there, but again, National failed to act. We had a spirited debate about the age, the purchase age, and Tim McIndoe brought this up. But I want to know why that was singled out for the conscience vote. Why was all the attention put on the age? Why was all the media attention put on the age when the evidence says that it is one way of dealing with harm, but it is a small way? It was described by one member as trying to empty a bucket of water with a teaspoon. It will happen, but it will happen over a very, very long period of time, and there are other more effective measures that this government has failed to pick up. But that's where all the attention went. And as Leanne Dalzell said, it was a superb strategy from the government to divert attention away from their failure to act on any number of ways that they could have to truly deal with alcohol-related harm. Mr. Speaker, this is not the end of this debate. There is no doubt that we will have to revisit this issue again in the future. And it will have to be done with a government that's got the vision, the purpose, and frankly, the guts to tackle this issue properly. When we do, and in fact in all dealings to do with alcohol-related matters in the future, this issue should cease to be primarily a justice issue and should be a health issue. The Ministry of Health should be the lead agency. The Minister of Health should be the lead minister. And I want to just briefly reflect on the paucity of alcohol addiction treatment that there is available in this country at the moment. Another area where this government is failing. It takes far too long to access addiction treatment once somebody is referred or self-identifies as needing it. And that delay often results in people not accessing the treatment that they require. That is something that ought to be one of this government's health priorities, but of course it is not. There is nothing wrong with what is in this bill, and that's why it will get broad support from around the House. But what has left New Zealand so disappointed with this government is the things that have been left out, and its failure to act, its failure to tackle the big issues, the difficult issues. And that is why New Zealanders are resoundingly disappointed with this legislation. It is weak, it is insipid, it will not achieve the outcomes that are desirable, and we will have to revisit this issue again because of this government's failure.
Mr. Speaker.
Kevin Haig.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to begin